A pleasure to meet all at last. Welcome back to HJN Bandtastic. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to take ourselves an even deeper approach into the past and talk a bit about the Smashing Pumpkins for number 2109. So, yeah. One of those instances where a rock band happens to have a pretty goofy name. Smashing Pumpkins, though, is definitely not alone. In the basis of rock and roll, there are indeed much more funnier names out there, like Bare Naked Ladies, Cage the Elephant, Death Cab for Cutie, Duran Duran, Dinosaur Jr., and many others. I mean, the whole world of rock and roll is nothing but hard riffing, hard drum pounding, awesome stuff, with a little comedy thrown in, just to entertain people some more. And why people would favor hip-hop, rap, and country over rock makes no sense. I could never find anything funny about them. Ever. Same with metal. So, yeah, I just had to point that out right away. But anyways, though, Smashing Pumpkins might as well be best regarded for their single 1979, which came out on their 95 album known as Melancholy, and how do I even pronounce that correctly? But anyways, that album in particular probably does have the most plays in regards to that one single, which also had itself a popular music video with, believe it or not, Billy Corgan, whom is in fact the man behind it all, the lead singer of the group. His head was also pretty much shaved, just like this. So the timing is perfect for me to talk about Smashing Pumpkins, that music video with this hairstyle. Not much more here to say on that part, but I guess what I also could talk about is particularly the fact that even after this one single would become one of their most popular things ever that they've done, and their best song yet, they still did make a great ton of other songs as well. As a matter of fact, from their greatest hits album, other songs that they would make, like Today, I could find a lot of enjoyment out of most of their other singles without shifting a lot of my focus and attention over to the single of 1979. And the reason is simple. I'm not one that pays attention to specifically the one-hit wonders out there. The highest popularity of all the songs that any band or artist would ever make. So don't expect me to listen to such songs like Africa, Thriller, or September, but instead to such songs out there that are indeed not as memorable. To give them a little more attention than you might think. But that's supposed to be a good thing. That's what seekers are made for. Otherwise, I don't necessarily have too much else to say here, but Smashing Pumpkins did in fact get themselves a nice big revival in 2012 with the single known as Solara. An amazing way to rise from the ashes after a near 10-year period where somehow it seemed like they were dying off, much like a lot of other bands, because as soon as other big time things started to come around, like pop, and we definitely can't forget the advent of internet related music videos, especially with the ones that came from the likes Rebecca Black, Fred Ficklehorn, and Gangnam Style, especially Gangnam Style. Oh boy, I mean, it was this exact period in history where we started to have a natural decline of certain things that were once popular. And that's pretty much how it has been since then. Since the early to mid 2000s, when the internet swept the nation with big time events that were happening in a whole different universe, as opposed to this one that we're in, it seems that a lot of things have pretty much died off. Yet, at the same time, if it wasn't for the internet to begin with, maybe the bands that I have talked about, as well as ones that I am going to talk about, they probably wouldn't have had that much attention today. So the fact that a lot of longtime fans of some of these bands out there, as well as newcomers, the fact that they're actually being reeled into the likes of YouTube, and the fact is that recommendations from the so-called algorithm are basically coming to them, it's an amazing move. I mean, How would I have known that such bands out there like Dinosaur Jr. or Arctic Monkeys would have existed, or even really obscured ones like Saga, for instance? And to be honest, I've never heard of the likes of Rush. That's just another big example. But the thing is, how would I have known about their existence? Either someone would have had to tell me about it, or I would have had to look them up. But nevertheless, I definitely see a good side and a bad side to the internet. The bad side, obviously, being the fact that rock and roll is actually being shoved away from our eyes and ears in favor of all this crap. Multi-million view or even multi-billion view music videos comprised of rap and hip-hop with people that are naked, sex, high clothes, exotic cars, and all that. Like, it's just all too much, I'm saying. Then how is country and metal also still popular? Why aren't they dead? Just like rap and hip-hop. 1, 2, 3, 4, all of them gotta go. That's all I gotta say. Don't consider me a protester, though, for that on the streets or anything else. Only warning. But otherwise, the Smashing Pumpkins is yet another well-known example that we've had. Even to this day, people still happen to watch their music videos, listen to their albums, and all that good stuff. And even better, I actually have a few right here on my iPhone. So that way I can be a proud member of keeping these guys alive for as long as possible. And just to know the fact that I've even gone as far to feature some of their songs in my own content really says something. As a matter of fact, though, it's a little bit more than just the likes of my content exclusively. We've heard Smashing Pumpkins being played in various other media. Some you might have to look up in order to know exactly what it all is, but nevertheless, it still is. Quite a period in time where certain bands and the like still continue to exist, and in a big, big way. No internet clearly would have meant a long-term death penalty for a lot of bands. They would have never seen the light of the future that is today if it wasn't for the World Wide Web. But hey, we're not quite done yet here. There are a lot of popular examples as well as some not so popular examples of rock bands here in Bandtastic that I plan on talking about soon. So after some time, I will in fact be talking a bit more about the more obscure end of rock and roll.